So, when you asked me to share some thoughts about Barb and Mary Ellen, it's really easy. And it was harder to think about how do I synthesize it down to just a few words. But when I do, I really think about three things. I think about two individuals who truly have the courage of their convictions, two individuals who've changed the face of the Democratic Party and the way we do business, and probably most importantly, I think of true love. When I think of Barb and Mary Ellen, I think of two individuals who have the courage of their convictions to stand up for what's right, to always, regardless of potential negative outcomes or unintended consequences, their moral compass is unwavering. And that's something that has always given them a special place in my heart, because when I look for guidance and counsel, I know that I can look to them for the straight story, for them to truly give me the feedback that I need to hear. And when I think about them changing the way we do business as a Democratic Party and the face of the Democratic Party, well, that's easy, because when you think of Barb and Mary Ellen, you think of democracy for New Mexico. And what a beautiful thing, right? Democracy for New Mexico. Whether it's with their meetups that they've done for years now, and believe me, if you want to get elected in New Mexico, the road to public office in New Mexico runs right through Democracy for New Mexico. And I've always been very clear about that when candidates come and ask me about what they need to do to get elected. I say, look, you need to go to the true grassroots organization in New Mexico, and that's Democracy for New Mexico. So whether it's the blog that we all read every day, where Barb is just tireless in carrying the message for the Democratic Party and our candidates and our unions and the people we care about and the causes we're passionate about, or whether it's their monthly meetings, they've literally and almost single-handedly changed the way we do business in New Mexico for Democratic politics. But I guess I'd close by saying the thing that's most important to me, and the thing I'll always think about when I think about Barb and Mary Ellen, is really they are a true example of what love's all about.
Hi, I'm Barbara, and I originally met Barb and Mary Ellen at Page One Bookstore, I think, when they were holding their Democracy for New Mexico up there. And when I first went to one of the meetings, it seemed like they were still new at organizing, and maybe they were sort of new to the community. I don't really know how long they had been here, maybe a while, but they seemed to be learning how to organize, and I continued to go back and got to know them better and better, and of course they became incredible organizers over the years. And also Barb is a fantastic writer. I mean, nobody can appreciate how much it takes to write a blog every day, or more than one post, even if they're brief, with all the research and links and every other kind of thing. She writes fast, she writes well, and she's always got good information going on the blog. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for both of them. I love them because they're good community people, and they've paid their dues, and we need to pay them back.
Hi, I'm Nettie Olguin, and I'm a political consultant based in Albuquerque. And it's an honor to have been asked to comment about Barb and Mary Ellen and the importance of their website, Democracy for New Mexico. So, at the risk of divulging trade secrets and spilling the beans, I'm going to tell you about how Barb and Mary Ellen have been helping me elect progressive Democrats here in New Mexico. When I get a new candidate, one of the first things that I do is I set up a coffee with Mary Ellen and Barb and my new candidate, and we talk about policy, we talk about values, we talk about campaigns, and part of the reason is to get Mary Ellen and Barb excited about this candidate. And if they are excited, and I'll also hope for an endorsement, I know we're going to get great coverage on Democracy for New Mexico, and it matters because so many voters go there, and they look to Barb and Mary Ellen for what are their opinions, what's their analysis, and then they go to our website, and then we win elections, and then we have great change in New Mexico. So that's really how it's done, and without them, I don't know where we would have been, and I look forward to working with them tomorrow and many years into the future.
I first met Barb and Mary Ellen via Daily Co's. We were all Cossacks in New Mexico, kind of hanging out together and writing blogs and stories and exchanging emails, and we became fast and furious friends. And on a personal level, they have been great people to get to know, but also they've supported the community at large, progressive-wise, and they've also supported me as a friend. And now I want to be able to support them as a friend and do what I can to make their lives a little bit easier and give them the support that they need.
Barb and Mary Ellen Broderick were part of a group that we call the Dfnm. That was also called DFA, or Dean for America, when we were promoting Howard Dean as our favorite candidate for president. So we started out as a small group. I think I'm trying to remember exactly how it was, but it seems like we met in cafes or something the first couple times. And more than the first couple of times. It went on for a while. We met in various places like that. And so we were all just part of this small group. And it was kind of an exciting time because it was a brand new concept in campaigning to use the internet in that way to organize these kinds of teams. And so there'd be a central discussion from the campaign manager or the communications manager from Dean's campaign. And then sometimes I remember we sat down and wrote letters to the states in which primaries were being held in support of Dean. We'd send them to people, to Democrats who were in that state and who would be voting in the primary, we hoped. So this grew into a really passionate kind of group that was following Dean. And again, we were all just a part of it, just a group of people, a very flat organization, no leadership, just a group. And then Dean crashed. And I won't go through that story, but it all kind of left a void for us. So I'm not sure when it was that Barb and Mary Ellen started the new group, whether it was before or after the Kerry election, but might have been after, I'm not sure. Anyway, they just sensed this passion, and that this passion was missing, and that we needed to have it. We progressives needed to have that sort of thing. So they started the current Dfnm, which is, instead of Dean, was Democracy for New Mexico, but it retained the Deaniac passion. That was the start of it all, and they've continued it today, and it's been a very powerful force, I think. And I think it's recognized as a powerful force in democratic politics. So the politicians, as well as the membership, have appreciated their work.
Happy Halloween, and my love to Barb and to Mary Ellen. These two incredible women have changed the face of politics in New Mexico. I really believe they're the catalyst of the progressive movement here. Because of them, people like me are now chair of the Platform and Resolutions Committee. They are responsible in the movement for getting so many progressives elected, for bringing Brian Colon into office that has added so much inclusiveness and a new population of people who are active. We thank you. New Mexico thanks you. On a personal note, when Mosh was in the hospital, my friends here were so supportive. Mary Ellen probably visited me at the hospital more than anybody else, and I'm forever grateful, and I love you both, and thank you for all you have done.
I met Barb and Mary Ellen through Democracy for New Mexico, and Barb and I exchanged late night banter on Twitter. I'm honored to call both of them friends, and those that only know her through her political activism really miss out a lot on the great and warm person that she is, with a great sense of humor. I'm honored to call them friends, and I like to support them now in their time of need.
My name's Dallas Timmons. I met Barb and Mary Ellen in 2004 after the election. A lot of people after that election were depressed and angry and really just amazed that we had lost it, and really were needing an outlet for something to do with that frustration and that energy that came of we've got to do something. And Barb and Mary Ellen were really the only show in town. They had an organization that was already intact and meeting on a regular basis, and the Democracy for New Mexico group really became a place for everyone to go and really have an outlet to hear others, to meet others that felt the same way. Every group or everybody with an idea could come there, and they were welcomed, and they could speak at it, they could get people involved, and they also advocated for people to get involved in things, including the Democratic Party, which a lot of us did, and made some significant changes. But at that time, they were the only group that was really a place that welcomed everybody and allowed people to speak. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And they have carried that for all these years. So we owe a lot to them. And I'm just really glad that they were there at that time and that they are still here.
I'm Don Schiff. I'm the Democratic Party Ward Chair in 18B, which is Nob Hill north of Central. And I'm also a licensed massage therapist, been practicing for 28 years. I met Barb and Mary Ellen in 2004. Howard Dean had inspired me to get off my ass and do something practical in politics. And I really didn't know what to do, but with the help of Barb and Mary Ellen and people like them, we figured it out, and we pretty much took the party over. Barb's wonderful. She's really straightforward, and she's quick to call bullshit when someone wants to pretend that some little half measure like domestic partnerships really is the same thing as marriage. Or you know, if some politician just is being slimy and playing games, she'll say so, which is just an amazing breath of fresh air. And frankly, it's the kind of politics that, and the kind of way of being in the world that really attracted me to Howard Dean in the first place. Barb's, you know, written the Democracy for New Mexico blog for years, which frankly is my best place to get news about politics in New Mexico on the local level. And I'm just really grateful for her presence and her friendship.
I remember the first time that I met Barbara and Mary Ellen and thought how much I wanted to be their friends, because they inspired me, and not only me, but the entire community here in Albuquerque and across the state. They've continued to do so, inspiring me with my online journalism and other reporting efforts. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've talked about Barbara's great history in Chicago, and common experiences that we had in the Windy City. We shared time in Denver during the 2008 Democratic nominating convention and had a blast in the Mile High City. We also talked about their birds and visited often in their kitchen over coffee and occasionally at Village Inn for some pie. Barbara always coming to my aid on Facebook when conservatives would start to bully others, leaving comments on some posts that I had made about health care, federal spending, and other important issues, and being able to argue against some of these people who just aren't listening and aren't speaking about the facts that are confronting our nation. Then this summer, I got to share their trip to Northern California through pictures, of course, but I had lived in Northern California for 15 or 20 years, and I got to play a little travel guide, and while they were on their journey, would send them recommendations of places to see. In return, they would send me great pictures, allowing me to experience the journey with them. And now, Barbara faces this very serious illness. She was there for me in 2009 when I had gallbladder disease, and it's time for us to all be there for her now in her own time of illness. And that's why I want to say thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for donating your money to help the blog persevere, to help the family with their expenses. And for now, Barbara, best wishes to you.